my name is Matthew Freckleton. I'm the founder and CEO of YATTERBOX, and I've titled this presentation, What We Built in 423 Days, because today is the 423rd day I've been working on YATTERBOX. Now, those of you who are trying to work in your mind, well, what was the date ago, 423 days? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you, it was the 5th of May, I think. I'm not very good at maths. Now, on the 5th of May, or roughly around that time, I was sat in my bedroom, this is my bedroom back home, during the general election, and I was watching a BBC News article on Twitter usage by MPs. And they're going on about a couple of websites that gathered together all the Twitter accounts from all the politicians in the country. And during the general election, there's about 200 MPs using Twitter. And this had grown from 2008 when there were only 4. So I sort of sat there and thought, well, that's great. But having done work for political parties and politicians, I knew that politicians were using more than just Twitter. They're on Facebook, YouTube, Flickr, RSS feeds. They're pushing out all this dynamic content, and you couldn't see it in any one place. So that was kind of the core idea. Before I move on to the next slide, you probably want to know, but the big polar bear is called Max, and the little polar bear is called Winston. So that kind of gave me this idea. Why not create a website that feeds in all this information from all these different sources? Every Twitter, every Facebook page, every Flickr, YouTube, RSS feed for every politician in the country. So you can see what these people are saying in one place. Otherwise, if you're a Twitter user, you have to try and find all the Twitter accounts, and there's loads of fake ones out there. And the Facebook pages, you don't particularly want to like a particular politician, because there's a thing that goes with that. You like this person, you might not like them, but you want to know what they're saying. So I thought, oh, that's not a bad idea. We might try and do something with this. However, bearing in mind this was May 2010, as Roger said, I was a former student of his. I was kind of trying to finish my dissertation, which wasn't going particularly well. I was on Facebook a lot, and we were sort of monkeying around, doing other bits and pieces, and I was trying to enjoy my final few weeks at university. However, we got through all that, and I graduated, and here's a picture of me graduating, 2-2 in sociology, and my mum's going to kill me. That's my mum there. And so I graduated, and then I kind of thinking, what am I going to do in my life? Last year, pretty tough in the job market. I'd done a couple of internships, and I realized they weren't for me when I fell asleep in a couple of them. So I sort of had 2 options. I could either go home, live with my parents, and sign on for job seekers allowance, or I can try and do something with this idea, which literally back then, we've developed a lot more since then, but back then it was literally just that slide where let's pull everything together. No business plan, no commercialization, no nothing. I did neither of those. I went on holiday instead. With my parents, we went on a sort of a 2-3 week cruise in August around the Baltic states, went to St. Petersburg and Latvia and Poland and all these fabulous places. And the weather was great. It was 35 degrees in Russia. So that was good fun. And so it got to sort of September, and the question came up again, what am I going to do in my life? I had no idea. So I thought, well, we're going to do something with this because I don't want to live with my parents. So I sort of had about £2,000, put it in my back pocket, jumped on a train, came back to York, and this is Heslington Hall, where all the important people in York university work. So got into York, didn't have a job, didn't really have anywhere to live, had no idea how I was going to support myself or what I was going to do, but I had this idea. So after crashing on some mates' couches for a while, I found somewhere to live. Got a bit of money together as well. I did some serious networking, which was helped a lot by a lot of entrepreneurial and business activities I'd done while I was a student here. And so we cobbled together sort of £2,000, and we moved into this building here, which is what we're in today. And we're on the first floor, which is a specially designed business incubation suite for early startup companies. So we're in there, and we're paying like $2.5 grand over a year, and we get fully serviced accommodation and internet that does work. And then we sort of, between this period as well, we were sort of trying to hammer down the idea and get it onto paper, and we're trying to write a business plan, which was a complete disaster because the idea changed every day, and so we just gave up on that, and we thought, well, let's just build it. Let's just build it because that'll speak for itself. And so between all the beer and the Warcraft and other bits and pieces, we found a fantastic local web developer called Rick Taylor, who we sort of contracted in and said, here's this idea, can you help us with it? And he said, yeah, we can do something. And then on the 15th of February, we launched this. And the site's live at the moment, so you can go and see it. I would give a demo, but due to time constraints, I'm not going to do that. And basically, it does exactly what I said it does. We track every single social media account for every politician in the country, and whenever we see an update, it appears there on the live feed. So you can see the information. 46 days later, we launched the US version, which does the exact same thing, tracking every congressman, governor, congressional committee, and all the executive members of government. And since then, between the 2 sites, we've been tracking about just over 2,000 politicians, across 4,000 social media accounts, and we're gathering and presenting around 2,800 pieces of dynamic content a day. And we're trying to work out how we can analyze that and do stuff with it and do lots of nice infographics like Roger talked about. So that's great. That's where we are at the moment. And like I said, we're still trying to monetize it. We still haven't got a business plan, and we're still trying to work out what we're going to do. And in the process, we spend a bit of money. So we're not in a good position. Oh, where are we? So we're sort of thinking, August 2011, what's going to happen? We've got our smartphone apps coming out in mid-August. That will release with a new user interface as well. We're expanding to cover another 15 countries by the end of the year. And into next year, the plan is that we will be tracking every politician across the entire globe. So you can't hide. And of course, on top of that, all the candidates as well, for people who are trying to run against them. We're in the process of developing a commercial product for the US election. And the idea behind this is if you want to follow the US election, you have to use our service because there's nothing else out there that does what we're planning on doing, which gives us this idea of a sort of the ultimate political social media intelligence tool, which should be quite interesting, quite exciting once we've built it. And we're trying to get all that up and running within the next couple of months. And so that just leads me to say thank you to everybody who has helped out. And I suppose I should try and end on something about the new STEAM age. And I want to say that the new STEAM age involves all these people. We've got young people like Arthur here, and Chris, and myself, and Rick. But the STEAM age also involves a lot of traditional, old-style people. For example, John. Here, Mark, Andrew, and Uday. These are all people who have helped out in various ways, full-time, part-time, semi-time. And so I suppose I just want to end by saying thank you for all these people who have helped out. That's what YATTERBOX is, that's what we're doing, that's where we're moving. We haven't given a live demo of the site, and we're going to be doing that in the demonstration space, which is the crazy 360-degree projection room out there just after this. And I suppose we're part of that new STEAM age. So thank you for listening.